Hi there, this is Dennis Velco from OutBüro. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of OutBüro Voices, where we have engaging conversations with LGBTQ professionals, entrepreneurs, and community leaders from around the world. And today we have the great honor of speaking with Donna Williams. She is an entrepreneur hailing from Brighton, UK. Welcome to the show, Donna.
Thanks for having me, Dennis. How are you?
Well, I'm doing pretty well in enjoying the winter. It is right now end of October, beginning of November in 2020. Since you folks out there could be listening this at any time, and we appreciate that. But I am enjoying one of the reasons I moved back to Florida, where I grew up in the home state of Florida, rather, is for these lovely winters. I'm in shorts, a t-shirt, and sandals. But you wouldn't know it from this, right?
I'm so jealous. It's really cold over here in England, so I am a little bit jealous.
Well, perhaps we'll have to organize an OutBüro event function and get all of our great members to come to Fort Lauderdale for, a week or so, or at least a long weekend and enjoy it. So Donna, give us a little bit of information. Now, you started a company called LibertiPix. Which for those out there, I'll let you give the detailed overview. But for those in our listening and viewing audience, LibertiPix is a all LGBT focused site that's similar for those out there who know of iStockPhoto or Getty'sImages.com. And so let me have you tell a little bit of your history and story about LibertiPix.com.
Okay, Dennis, so I'll give you a background to the reason why I came up with the idea of LibertiPix. So my background is in advertising, and I worked for 20 years in the creative department of lots of different advertising agencies, some big ones and some small ones, some famous ones and some not so famous ones. And my job was to write TV campaigns, print ads, digital email campaigns. And in the early days of my career, there wasn't really much to do with stock photography. There was a little bit, but most of the clients had big budgets and they had a lot of money to spend on commissioning photographers. And that's how you got a lot of work done. But increasingly over the years, stock imagery has become a much more attractive option, mainly with social media, the advent of social media. People don't need the pictures to be as big as they used to be. So now 72 DPI is acceptable. And in my role as a creative, I found myself looking more and more at stock photography websites to find appropriate imagery to use in the campaigns that I'd written or been part of. And while I was searching through all these stock photos, I realized that there was little or no authentic images of LGBTQ plus people. And in fact, what I found were over-sexualized images. So that would be like two straight women who would be cast as two lesbians kissing or about to get it on. There would be images of gay men without their tops on who looked like they were going to go to a sex party. I found images that were following a heteronormative narrative. So it would be two beautiful gay men in a beautiful apartment with their beautiful baby. Nothing to do with a lot of the gay men that I know here in Brighton. And of course, there was just like loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of rainbow flags everywhere. So, apparently that's all we do is go around waving a rainbow flag. So during also that time, I collected some adverts and collected some pieces of communication, which were about the misrepresentation of LGBTQ people. For example, I found an advert for a travel company. I can't remember the name now of it. And they were using a stock image of clearly it was a mother and daughter, but they decided to portray that as a lesbian couple. So this actually drove me around the bend. It's quite rude, I thought, really. So instead of moaning about it, which I did for quite some time, and I did moan about it and I did rant and rave about it, I decided with my partner, Nikki, that we would do something about this and we would create our very own stock shot agency, which was just about LGBTQ plus people living their authentic lives. So that was the birth of LibertiPix.
Awesome. And as a user of images for all of my marketing that I have to do, even, and for the featured images on my articles, and sometimes my backdrop images whenever I even have a guest on, I'll get their headshot as you see in the YouTube thumbnail and so forth. But 99.9% of the time, I'm using stock images, for the backdrop behind them to give some, sense of gaiety to that image, so that the person seeing it quickly recognizes it, that it's a gay, LGBTQ content, and looks at then the title further. So I myself can see the need for it, and I can totally just validate that I have pretty much, with my what I consider to be fairly limited, with like 180 or so articles, and now of about 50 episodes out there, I've pretty much exhausted what I can come across. So I've started to even having to reuse some of the same images. Sometimes I'll flip them and put the person in a different area to kind of uncover the different side of the image, just to have it look fresh. So I completely understand. And wow, having an actual someone who was very apparently models who were a mother and daughter, and trying to portray that as a lesbian couple, just one, sounds gross, and two, it's not very representative of the vast majority of lesbian couples I know, who look completely different from each other, So very, very interesting.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now how long, to talk about kind of so you've talked about the why. Let's talk a little bit about, starting the business, and maybe some of the issues, challenges, and how you overcame them. And, how, some of the business side of it, how are you, in addition to this, getting the word out. And from our initial conversation, I do believe that not only the images that you are putting on your site and accepting on your site for authenticity, but also all of the photographers are also part of the LGBT community as well, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So what we do at LibertiPix is we provide authentic images shot through the lens of the people that know the LGBT community the best, and that is the LGBTQ plus community. So all our models are people that identify with the LGBTQ plus community, and all of our photographers are queer photographers. So we guarantee to portray an authentic, a genuine, and a sensitive portrayal of LGBTQ plus life. Now, in terms of the struggles, do you mean the struggles of starting the business? Do you mean all the process of that?
Yeah, whatever resonates with you. Every business, sometimes people will see a business that, looks successful, or, and I know you're relatively new starting out, but, so often you'll see kind of the hype of, even in mainstream media like Forbes and so forth, they'll talk about, how this and this company, is launched and, hit, $100 million or something in revenue.
Yeah.
But there's typically no story about, the years of effort, being an entrepreneur is a difficult journey. You're taking a huge risk on what you believe, to be a gap in the market, and that you see a need for it. And so in your case, there's technical things that you had to put into place. There's a bit of, assessing the marketplace, which, you've kind of covered a little bit. And then there's attracting, there's getting the word out and attracting those photographers and attracting those models. And then, you also have to attract the subscribers to the site who are going to actually utilize those images. So just, if you wouldn't mind, talk a little bit about whatever comes to mind in those veins from the business perspective.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for me, I sort of see myself as an accidental entrepreneur. I didn't suddenly get out of bed one morning and think, hey, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I just felt very passionate about a problem. And I was quite keen on fixing that problem and quite passionate about that. And that passion is what drives the business. And, you know, me and my partner, it's just me and my partner working on this. So it is a small business. We have had struggles in terms of website development. We had one website that was all singing and all dancing, and we invested quite a bit of time and money in that website. That didn't really work out, so we've had to strip that back and simplify it. So that was a big learning curve for us in terms of technology. It's also been a little bit challenging as well getting photographers on board, because some of them are quite reticent to get involved in stock photography because they have been bitten in the past by the bigger stock shot agencies in terms of how much commission they would get. The way that we've got around that is that we offer 50% commission on anything that we sell off LibertiPix. So that is a good commission. And also a lot of the photographers that we are dealing with are in this area. So we've actually sort of creating a family of photographers, and that we support and nurture and help and point in the right direction. And that kind of extends itself to the people that we call out. Well, they're not really our models because they're real people. So we put out ads in local newspapers. There's G Scene down here, which is a local gay rag. And the response has been great. You know, we have like a list of people that we're going to get round to shooting. So they're really keen to do it, because these people, especially the models, have just felt underrepresented and marginalized because they haven't seen themselves in mainstream media. So they're keen to do it. They find it quite empowering, both on a political level, and also just on a self-confidence level. It, you know, boosts their self-confidence and they feel really good about themselves.
Awesome.
And in terms of the business, we're just forever constantly reevaluating our business model and chatting to clients and potential clients. So we know there is a need for video, and a lot of our clients have asked for that. So we're responding to that and introducing stock video and a custom video service, which will be out, I think we're trying to get it through into January, but it's a bit difficult because we're in lockdown 2 over here in the UK. Mm-hmm. And we're going to introduce a subscription system, because that's not on the website at the moment. That was on the old one. So the new one's got to have a bit of tech applied to it so that we can sell subscriptions at a reasonable price.
Gotcha. Well, I can certainly confirm and attest and acknowledge the technical difficulties when you try to bite off something that's fairly large. I myself had quite a bit of technical difficulties last year dealing with 2 different programmers pointing fingers at each other and so forth, and it put me back 12 months. I actually had to find the root cause. And I'm not a developer, but I actually found it. And I had to replace, like you, I had to replace a whole side of OutBüro. And now both work beautifully, both sides of the house work beautifully together. But it was a huge learning curve. OMG. I mean, I myself had to get into the code, get into the database layer and everything. And to prove to the person that I then had to fire and scrape everything that he did, lots of money down the toilet. So wasn't happy about that. So I can certainly feel your pain when it comes to that, and growing, starting with the minimum value product, and then growing and adding features, as demand rises. So, and I also like hearing that you are starting with a local group, because, as that grows and, word gets out, like hopefully this show will help do, is then seeing, the what you're doing on the site, what kind of images are there. That'll hopefully inspire other photographers from around the world to reach out to you to be part of it. Because, you know, there are some fantastic photographers, even in the OutBüro's group on LinkedIn. You know, there's, I can't think of their names off the top of my head, but I know there's some really great photographers in India, some in Australia, and, you know, throughout the US and Canada, and of course, Latin America. But, you know, that would be awesome. So, so for folks out there, this is a call to action for you. If you happen to be a photographer, or videographer, log on and check out LibertiPix.com. And of course, we'll have links in the show notes, but start checking them out. You know, it doesn't have to replace the, you know, perhaps you're already doing stock photography, or maybe this might be a new venture for you. Maybe the inspiration of being LGBT full from A to Z might inspire you to check them out and create a new revenue source for yourself. So have you, just out of curiosity, and being a new business is certainly okay if it's not there yet, but do you have currently customers utilizing the site and utilizing your imagery?
Yeah, we've got a few different clients, got some ad agencies, some charities, and we've got quite a lot of interest in the subscription model. So that's why we're very keen to get that out in January.
Okay.
And also we've got, we do a custom creation service, and we do have a few local clients that we work with, like G-Scene, and we did some work for Gales, which is a gay ale originally from Australia. I don't know whether you've heard of it. It's called Gales.
So I've not yet.
Yeah, check it out. It's really nice, actually, if you like ale. It's like a golden ale and a dark one. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're getting there. We're slowly getting more and more people on, you know, interested and on board, and we're doing quite a lot of marketing. So using the power of LinkedIn, obviously, because it's quite a lot of this is business to business. And Pinterest, use Pinterest quite a lot. It's a great marketing tool. I mean, it's the second biggest search engine in the world at the moment, and it helps us with our discovery and our visibility. And we've put quite a lot of effort into our SEO, and we're starting to yield the results and get higher rankings on the pages with Google. That works quite well at the moment.
Super, all important. So doing that grassroots and often can be free. Lots of time, you know, when outside of time, which can be quite labor intensive and time consuming to do. But, you know, at least it's for a lot of it, not putting out the actual, you know, dollars, especially if, you know, if you yourself or your wife is doing, you know, much of that work.
Yeah.
And, you know,
she's doing most of it.
Great.
Pinteresting. She's the queen of Pinterest.
Oh,
you want any advice? Just she's your gal. Yeah.
All right. Well, and luckily we also have a really large amount of professional marketers in the group on LinkedIn, and you know, I'll be sure to bring it up with the Gay Marketing Association here in the U.S. We're in conversations of partnering, and they have 40,000 members. So it's a lot of folks. You could potentially start utilizing LibertiPix.com.
Sounds fantastic, Dennis. Thank you so much.
So, you know, with all of that, you know, being an entrepreneur, luckily you're not an entrepreneur of one, because being just one, it can be very burdensome, but still, even being the two of you, it can sometimes feel a bit isolating. And so, you know, when you came up with this idea and you started down this journey, you know, so often entrepreneurs, you know, have a vision and, you know, have a mission and a passion, as you stated, to create their business. And sometimes family and even close friends don't always understand or don't even understand why you're no longer available at a drop of a dime, to go off and go bike riding, for example, because you're working on your business. Have you had any experiences to that kind of, I don't want to call them naysayers necessarily, but sometimes entrepreneurs have that. Have you had any experiences with that, or has everyone just seen the vision and been completely supportive?
No. I mean, everyone's supportive in their own way, but I think a lot of people think that Nikki and I have gone mad because we're not making a tremendous amount of money, and we've self-funded this project, this business, and I just think we've gone off on one, gone a bit crazy. That's the only thing I would say, is that some people, they understand the premise of what we're doing, but they don't understand where we are. That we haven't been going for that long. We're not making millions and millions of, well, we might never make that, but they're just confused why we aren't making a great deal of money when we spend so much time doing it. But that's part of setting up a business, and that's part of that journey. Is it's going to be hard in the beginning, and if people don't understand it or get it in its entirety, then that's just one of those things. Just got to keep going and keep going and keep going. Take a holiday or take some time out and have a breath, and then just keep going again. And that's what you've got to do. If you believe in it, keep going.
Absolutely. And you just stated, kind of an experience of many entrepreneurs, including myself. Mm-hmm. And, when it starts, and it could go from not making much money to all of a sudden getting a lot of traction and being then, oh my gosh, overwhelmed, which would be a wonderful problem to have. And, but yeah, it's, I can also affirm that, if I didn't have a couple of key people in my life who really get me and really support me, they see the opportunity, luckily, they know what I can do, similar to you, but they don't. But occasionally there has been that, oh, well, shouldn't you just go get a real job? And it's like, what the F are you talking about? This is a real job, and I'm going to actually employ other people, and I'm helping other people with their employment. What do you not understand about that? It's just, especially when there's those technical difficulties that, set you back months, or in my case, almost a year. And, I've had friends say, well, why don't you just apply for a government job? You'll get benefits and blah, blah. I'm like, you're talking about the absolute opposite of me. You don't get me, right? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a horrible employee, absolutely horrific employee, because I like you now, I bet after this experience, you'll probably never go back, even if this for some reason, which I don't think it will, I think you're really onto something. But even if it failed, in the world of entrepreneurialism, failure is a lesson. Now it's a learning thing. So now when you go off to your next thing, you know what not to do, or at least some of what not to do. And where other people who are used to the fallacy of security and going to work for someone else, sitting in a cubicle 8 hours a day, their jobs aren't secure. They could be let go for any reason, and most states here in the US without any reason at all. And look at, what COVID has done. So, millions of people are out of work. So, I think, and most people would agree, that you actually have more security and more power and more control owning your own business. Because you're working on something that you actually are passionate about, versus just drudging through the day on helping someone else become wealthy. You're actually creating your own destiny, which with no glass ceilings. So very much commend you for that. It's scary, and this is your first. So I'll just say, having had a few other companies in my past of various levels of success, from millions of dollars a year to, a couple $100,000 a year, but each one failed for different reason, or I shut them down because I found that I wasn't as passionate about it once it got started. After a couple of years, it's like, oh yeah, wow, I actually don't like this. So I shut 2 businesses down because of that. I wasn't passionate about it. And with OutBüro, I'm extremely passionate about it. So it makes a difference. I can work those 10 and 16-hour days that I'm sure you do as well.
It's great. You've had such a breadth of experience, though, isn't it, in running different sorts of businesses? It's great.
That again is that getting back to the lessons. So my first company was a business process consulting business with Fortune 100 level clients and big government clients. I built it up with venture capital backing to 38 staff. We were running a couple of $1 million a year in revenue. And my business partners kept bringing in high profile, Wharton Business School, Harvard Business School kind of folks for window dressing, trying to get it ready to flip and sell. If that sold, I would have earned, $10 to $12 million.
Wow.
So, but there, kind of one of the issues was the venture capital person actually told my 2 main salespeople about the impending purchase that we were in dialogue with, and a major company. And then those salespeople didn't keep it to themselves. They told the consultants, and then the consultants and salespeople told customers, and then customers were like, would not renew contracts because they said, well, who's going to service us? We know the quality that you put into this, Dennis, but when you get purchased by this big company, are they going to have the same quality and the same level of service that you do? So we're just going to wait and see. So then we went from, running about $2 million a year in revenue to no contracts being signed. And we were strictly a professional services firm. So ended up having to, after a while, when no contracts were being signed, got to a point where payroll, right, eats you alive with 38 staff.
Yeah, and that's big, isn't it?
Yeah, ended up having to turn the lights out. Then I ended up having to get a job. But what was really great about that is I was used to selling into Fortune 1000, Fortune 100 level companies. We reported typically directly to the CFOs of these organizations, and we dealt with all of the major departments. So I'm used to that, and it was all about changing their processes and implementing the systems and tools to support those processes, similar to OutBüro. Also, then one of my next businesses, because I thought, well, I used to travel extensively with that, 70 to 80% of my time, and used to have to relocate for major clients. So in designing OutBüro, I wanted it 100% internet-based, so that hopefully I and a future hubby, because I'm single.
I find that hard to believe.
Well, some by choice, but until I find the right one, I'm not going to settle this time. But during when after our son was born, my ex and our son, who's about to turn 11, I've always loved estate sales because I love mid-century modern furniture. Danish modern, just love it. So for those potential future hubbies out there, as mentioned, if you don't have Danish modern furniture and you want to be serious with me, know that I'm going to change everything. Just know that. So I thought, well, I saw how all these little estate sale businesses were being ran. most of it was all handwritten receipts. And I thought to myself, well, how does the family or the estate attorney know that the 10 books of receipts that they were handed at the end of the sale wasn't 15 books, right? How do they know that that estate sale company just didn't rip them off? So in addition, I'm being gay and fabulous and also an artist. I'm a painter. I decided to start an estate sale business back in Columbus, Ohio, where I spent a lot of my adult years. And within 12 months became one of the top 3 estate sale agencies there. And because I set the houses or the estates up like a boutique, and every table had black tablecloths on it. Every item was photographed like it was going to go into a catalog. You know, I had scented candles going when people entered. And we actually ran a iPad-based point of sale system. So high ticket items were individualized, but even if it was a coffee mug, it would have, you know, kitchen item, $1.50. Soft goods, $12, whatever it might be. And so what was really great is as my staff was ringing items up, anyone from the estate, whether that was a family member or the attorney or et cetera, if they happened to walk into the estate sale at any time, all I had to do was pull up my phone, pull up the app, and I could show them real time as items were being tracked. So, and I was able to give them a detailed report. And so I was the only estate sale company in the entire state, if not the multiple state region, who used a real point of sale system. That created,
clever, isn't it?
yes, it created transparency. So what that did is because my marketing of the sale, I could make a basic grouping of, you know, candlesticks look like it was something that you were going to purchase online from, you know, a nice store. And so the marketing people goes, oh my God, they'd walk in and be, wow, this is beautiful. Everything is beautiful. And then having that differentiator. And I would tell prospective customers that, oh, well, ask them how they are tracking your sales. And I would plant that seed. And so, you know, when they're just using handwritten receipt books from Staples and Office Depot, and they're handing you, again, that example of 10 books at the end of it, how do you know they weren't 11 or 12 or 15 books? So it created doubt in their mind. And then, oh, and look at this, you know, completely modern, you know, iPad-based point of sale system. So everything is entered and tracked. There is no, you know, there is no way to fool this. So you're getting complete transparency and trust. And so that was a differentiator. So like what you're doing in your business is you're differentiating your business. And one of the key things for those listening out there is taking a proven business model, like in your industry, and then narrowly focusing it on a niche area. Like my 5-second elevator pitch for OutBüro is it's like Glassdoor.com and LinkedIn met at a party, fell in love, and had a queer baby. If you know what Glassdoor.com is, or Kununu, which is popular in Europe, and you know what LinkedIn is, you get the gist of what OutBüro is. And so for you, your 5-second elevator pitch is, we're like iStock photo, except we're all gay. We're all queer. It's queer from A to Z. And so that's a nice little pitch to be able to quickly say, so if someone's in the industry and have utilized it, or they're a small business doing marketing like myself, they're going to instantly know what it is and how you're different. And having that little 5-second pitch like that, and being able to give, when you are going after a proven business model, a proven industry and niching it, being able to reference those larger entities and then quickly say how you are niche different, it really helps people understand how you're different and go, oh, I get it. I use that. I need that. What's the website again? So that's one of the reasons why I really connected with what you're doing, because again, I myself need your services. I need your business. So very, very happy to start using it. Is there any other kind of, okay. So one of the other things I love to talk about is being an entrepreneur is we can work hours, an 8-hour day. I wish I had only an 8-hour day. No. As I like to tell friends, right now is the factory is behind on my order of 3 clones because I need 3 clones. No one has the passion that I do or that you do. And it's really hard to get that. And but you need other people to get all the work done. I literally could use 3 other people who are as passionate and as knowledgeable as I am. Where are you? But we really have to also, when we are working those long hours, like my shoulder right here constantly is killing me because of, doing, the mouse movements for 12, 13 hours a day. So I purposely, almost a day does not go by that I don't go for about an hour and a half walk. Mm-hmm. I have that time for myself to have a little bit of physical exercise, fresh air, and thought. And I find that I will sometimes be actually thinking about a problem that I'm having, either a technical problem, or maybe I'm working on some content and I think about that new way to frame that paragraph, to get my message across. So what do you and your wife do to kind of have that time and space for yourself?
Well, we're very fortunate that we live by the coast, so there is a beach very near here. So
lovely.
We go for a nice long walk on the beach with the beautiful dog. And occasionally, if it's not too cold, we might pop into the ocean and do a little bit of sea swimming.
Nice.
If I can squeeze myself into my wetsuit, I will go down and we will go swimming. And sometimes we'll try and swim around the pier. It's just trying to be just getting out in the outdoors and just having time to think and just reflect on what we're doing.
Very good.
Time out and just time to relax and enjoy each other's company.
Very, very good. Very good. And maybe a sippy cup with a lid and a straw with a cocktail here and there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I've been known to do that. Go on a long walk, but I have a sippy cup.
Oh, with a bit of vodka in it or something. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, we will definitely have your links. I see you already started creating your profile on OutBüro.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And there is marketing and media groups there. And if you don't see a group that you think might need to be there, maybe out photographers or something like that, feel free to create a group to help entice people to interact with you. Okay?
Yeah, what a great idea. I think I'll do that tomorrow, I think. Yeah.
Well, super. Well, thank you so much for sharing some of your story and journey and information about LibertiPix. I can't wait to start seeing all the photos and get inspired.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was lovely chatting to you, Dennis. Thank you so much. It was brilliant. Thank you.
You as well, Donna. And thank you, everyone, for staying tuned to this episode of OutBüro Voices. You've been listening to Donna Williams of LibertiPix. Check them out today. And while you're here, if you're viewing this on YouTube, be sure to hit that subscribe button and click that bell. That bell will notify you of future episodes. Also, if you would like to listen on the go, perhaps like walking on the beach like Donna, maybe taking a good walk, or even vacuuming your house in those 3-inch red pumps. You can tune in on 14 podcasting apps: iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Apps, and Apple, and about 10 others. We're also going to be announcing very soon, possibly by the time you're listening to this, that OutBüro Voices has been picked up by a new LGBT. Thank you for tuning in. Well, I appreciate it. This is Dennis Velco with OutBüro. Join us on outbureau.com today. Bye-bye.